I'm Johnny Wilson with Central Life Sciences. Today, we're going to be talking about some of the products in our grain protection portfolio and help to simplify the process of product selection. Up first, in the preventative category, we have Diacon IGR. It helps to control the population of insects in your incoming grain, effectively birth control for bugs. Next up, in the reactionary category, we have Sentinel. The active ingredients present help to kill the adult insects, effectively stopping the population growth as well. To round it out, in the full control category, we have Gravista. It combines all of the active ingredients present in the previous two into one complete package for ease of use. In addition to our liquid products, we also have ingredients present in dry form for Gravista and Diacon. This is simply for ease of use to make your operation easier. As part of our product selection criteria, we need to think about some of our grain management practices. Specifically, what kind of storage conditions we are going to be dealing with, the climate that the grain is going to be stored in and the region, how much insect pressure we're going to be seeing on our stored grain, how long we're going to be holding the grain, and what sort of insects we're going to be seeing during grain storage. In some scenarios where the insect pressure might not be as high, maybe the climate is a little bit milder, Diacon IGR is a great product to select. As we're seeing increased levels of insect pressure present in the incoming grain and from the outside environment, Sentinel might be the product for you. As we get into the harshest conditions for longer storage periods and product that might require extra levels of protection, Gravista incorporates all of the benefits of the previous two. Insect identification is a critical component during the product selection process, specifically when it comes to internal feeders such as weevils. Because of the life cycle of a weevil evolving inside of the kernel of a grain, it's important to eliminate them from the beginning and provide residual control for any insects that might emerge during the storage process. I'm Johnny Wilson with Central Life Sciences. We're going to be reviewing safety guidelines for our product application, specifically highlighting the importance of reviewing all safety data sheets and the product label. It is very important to review your company's specific safety programs, including the location of all documentation and official procedures. Most importantly, remember to follow the label for all product applications. The product label is where you can find the signal word, precautionary statements for first aid, environmental considerations, storage and disposal, and directions for use. Under the directions for use, you will find the specific application rate for labeled commodities. You can utilize the directions for use and application rate to fill out any pesticide use logs required by your organization. Even though our stored grain products are non-restricted use, it's important to familiarize yourself with the labeled personal protective equipment required for application. Examples of common PPE include long-sleeve shirts, shoes and socks, and eye protection. Please be mindful that your organization may require additional or application-specific equipment based on your use pattern. Included on the product label are specific instructions for proper storage and disposal. These instructions include storage in secured, dry areas and avoiding extreme temperatures. In addition to any labeled requirements, it is important to consult your organization's policy regarding proper storage and disposal. For some commercial and on-farm operations, a liquid batching system might be the most appropriate way to dose product onto your stored grains. In this scenario, we have a 250-gallon liquid tote equipped with a pump and appropriate tubing. Product will be manually diluted using supplied measuring vessels, and water will be added. For this pump setup, we have tubing that is looped back inside in order to perform the agitation by manipulating a valve and shutting off product flow to the conveyor. As soon as product is adequately mixed, it's ready for the valve to be opened and applied onto the grain mass moving through the conveying systems. For calibration and operation of the tote batching system, first, measure out an adequate amount of your product. Add it into the tote. Then add an appropriate amount of dilutant product in accordance with label rates. Next, we need to blend the product together. Ensure that the tubing is open to loop product around inside of the vessel. Provide power to the pump until
the mixture is adequately agitated. Once it's finished and ready to be applied, the valve to the conveying line can be opened. In order to measure product flow, you can use a device that measures in gallons per minute, much like this, or you can conduct a bucket test to ensure that the adequate label rate is being reached. I'm here with a metering pump application system used for products such as Diacon at a large grain handling or processing facility. Inside of this cabinet, we have a pre-assembled metering pump. On the inlet side, for either oil or water, we have a flow restrictor, a pressure regulator, a pressure gauge, and in this case, an electronic shutoff valve. Here we have the metering pump, which ties into that water or oil line through a needle injection valve. On the outlet side, we have the mixed product going towards a conveying system equipped with a nozzle and manifold. Installation of the equipment is very simple. All that's needed is to connect the incoming water or oil line onto the manifold. We will now be calibrating our metering pump system. We need to not only measure our liquid flow through our incoming water or oil line, but also the liquid flow coming through our metering pump. The water line needs to be turned on. That way the pump has an accurate pressure that it must overcome through the needle injection valve. At this specific location, we will be dosing product into a 6,000 bushel per hour conveyor. For our example, we will need to be at 2.1 pounds of water in 30 seconds. In order to obtain this value, we can go down to our nozzle in most situations, but here we can capture it directly out of the end over a 30-second time frame, measure that amount of liquid, and adjust as needed. Once we have that flow set on the water line, we can come to our metering pump, turn it on. It will begin dosing. We have it in calibration mode. The valve beneath the calibration column is open. The valve on the product side is closed. It is drawing product through the calibration column. For our specific scenario, we need to be moving 5.2 milliliters in 30 seconds for an accurate product dosing. As you set up your metering pump, take care to ensure that the product supply line is primed and ready. This can be accomplished by manipulating the pressure relief valve and burping the product line as needed to remove all of the air from the line. Based on your grain conveying equipment, determine the number and placement of nozzles and manifolds. Nozzles should be installed to provide a coarse droplet size as evenly as possible. Treating grain during freefall or transition will result in the best surface area coverage. Ensure nozzles are free of debris and positioned to treat the grain and not the equipment. If using a dry product is your preferred method of application, or if you're in an area where water is scarce, you can use a dry product applicator such as this one. For this example, we have the equipment positioned above the receiving pit, but you can also position it above the conveying system as well. In addition to using a mechanical applicator, there is always the hand scoop method. Most liquid grain protection products can be applied through backpack misters, mechanical, thermal, or compressed air fogging systems. These methods of application can be used for space treatment in grain bins, warehouses, production facilities, and numerous other locations. Always consult product label for complete directions for use. Samples should be obtained in accordance with organization policy in a manner in which provides the most representative sample possible. Depending on the location available for sampling, you may need to take multiple samples during grain loading or unloading and combine them for an accurate representation. In general, sampling grain during freefall or transition will provide the best sample possible. When sampling grain piles, trucks, rail cars, or ships, ensure to probe multiple locations and depths.